And folks, it's time for a little Crown of Emara. That's right. We're doing a live play. Now, the funny thing is, I just recorded a playthrough of this, which is processing right now. It's going to probably go live as I'm recording this live play. I can't get enough of this. If you recall, this is my 2018 second place runner-up game of the year from 2018. One of my absolute favorite board games, period, of all time. And here we go. We're going to play a solo run-through. Now, in a solo play of Crown of Emara, which can play 1 to 4 players, this is going to be our player board. We are yellow. This blue vagrant over here is Victoria. I believe that is the name the actual rules give for the solo player. Yep, Victoria. So hopefully everyone is going to be rooting against Victoria because in Crown of Emara, the goal here is to score citizen points and housing points on this track. We're going to start our housing at 35. I've already beaten the piss out of Victoria when we started the housing at 40. This is going to be the rubber match. I was already live on Twitch and did a playthrough of this, during which I lost to Victoria. And then I played an off-camera match at 35 housing and won. And of course, that one was not recorded. So this is the rubber match. Starting housing at 35. Both citizen points, though, is at 0. Now, Victoria doesn't gain housing points, just citizen points. We gain both, and the lower of the two is what our final score is. So the lower of our citizen points and housing is what we have to beat Victoria with. So both our citizen and housing have to be higher than Victoria. So what do we do here? Well, we have 2 counselors. The mechanics of the game are very simple. It's just there's a lot to choose from, a lot to do on your turn. So you have 2 counselors here. There are 2 separate boards, a village board and a city board. And it's essentially a pair of rondels. So you'll have a counselor on each board. You'll be moving the counselor around. The village board is the simplest. Wherever you land, that is the resource that you'll pick up. If you have a craftsman in one of the 3 houses on any particular slice of the pie, the way these boards are set up, you can either grab a second resource of that type, or if you have any grain, you can spend 1 grain to bake bread. So it behooves you to have craftsmen in these houses so you can double up your resources, like here's stone, cloth, wood, and grain, or use grain to bake bread. Of course, you can have multiple craftsmen in a single space, and then you'd be able to take a stone for landing there, and 2 more stone, or take a stone, second stone, and then also bake bread. And these are the craftsmen that we'll be putting out. And as you can see, every time you take one off your player board, your points go up. So first one you take off your board is a point, then 2 points, then 3 points, and 4 points. Now on the city board is where things get very interesting. So this rondel also has 4 sections: a castle, a marketplace, a building construction area, and a cathedral. Now when you go to the castle, you can exchange these goods. The 4 basic types of good, again, are wood, stone, wheat, and cloth. And depending on what these little dials are set to is how many of that resource you can contribute. Now, by contributing, you will then get a ring. And rings are very important if you want to become nobility. So whenever you see that yellow person icon, that is citizen points. Whenever you see these house icons, those are building points. So when you spend rings and gold, you'll notice at the top of those cards have rings and gold, any combination of which you can spend to get those citizen points. You have to start low, and then go up. So you have to start at a baron, then count, then prince. So you have to go in order. But that's the main importance of rings, which again are gotten at the castle. Also at the castle, you can trade in books for housing points. Then in the marketplace, you can trade in one good for a coin. Now, gold are wild. So in addition to using gold for the nobility cards, gold is also used as a wild in substitute of any of the four other resources. Also in the marketplace, you can cash in different numbers of books for more and more and more citizen points. Then in this construction area is where a lot of the points are going to be generated. So 1 to 3 bread will give you as many points as on this dial, and every time someone contributes, that dial goes down. Just like when someone contributes to get a ring, that dial goes up. So then it costs more wood, for example, the next time you want to try to get a ring there. But in this case, you'll get fewer and fewer citizen points for the amount of bread. But you can do 1 to 3 bread there, or 1 stone for 5 housing points, plus however many citizen points are on the dial, and then wood, either 1 wood or 3 wood for either 5 or 10 housing points. And then finally, the cathedral, just like the castle, has these dials. If you contribute any of those with the specific amount, you will get a book as well as a pick of 3 of these favor tokens, which they're all good. You draw 3 and pick 1, and those are all the actions. Now you'll see these cards, these advisor cards around the outside of the board, and they have a cost in resources across the top, and then they'll give you 2 things. Lightning bolt means you get it immediately, and any other icon means, like in this case, a one-time trade-off of a grain in a cloth for a bread, or 2 grains in a cloth for 2 breads. That's 1 time per turn you can do that, so that would help you out. Some of these are just, get 2 points and 2 books, and there's a whole bunch of different combinations. Those are random at the game and then replaced by a small deck of cards over to the other side. So you may be asking, well, how do you determine how you move around these rondels? Well, this is where the game, this is like my favorite part of the game. Where should we put this? Like right here, maybe? That doesn't look too bad. I'll try not to knock it around. And we will keep this stationary now. I just wanted to show you around the board. So we have these 2 counselors. How do we determine where they move? Well, you'll see down here on the player board, 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. They have to go clockwise. We're going to have a hand of 3 cards. Wherever you play it, that's how many spaces you move one of the advisors. So I could play a card here, move one of them a space, play a card here, move one of them 3 spaces. And, if you play a card in each one of these, you can technically move the same advisor 1 space on 1 turn, 2 spaces on it. So you can mix and match which advisors you move, or just use the same advisor all the time. Now, these cards will either have resources on them or special ways we can use resources. And in addition to that, this other little deck of cards over here has events. So every round, we will have a new event. An event can be, it's pretty much all good. In fact, in the solo game, you remove the only negative event, which would have been any housing points you gain this round, subtract 1 from it. In the rules, it actually has you remove that card. All right, and then for events, the first card you see there, we don't use it for the event. It's used to tell you where your advisors begin the game, your counselors. So we have the village counselor and the city counselor, and this first card tells us where they go. It's going to be on the cloth space and in the cathedral. And we'll put that over to the side. So cloth space over here. Wherever the village person starts, you also get the resource where they were. And then the cathedral space over here. All right, we're off to the races. This is a deck of 9 cards. You draw 3 cards, and we'll be putting one in each of those 3 slots. And once all 3 is filled up, we'll flip them over. That round is over. Flip a new event, draw the next 3, and then there's, again, 9 total cards there. And we go through this deck twice, so it's 18 total card placements, and the game's over. It's pretty quick. It's not that long. Now, Victoria, our solo AI opponent, I guess not really AI, it's pretty much set what she does. She does not get any points the first round. We get a little bit of a head start, but let's see if we can use that to our advantage. Here are our starting hand of cards. This is fantastic because we want to become a baron, and because Victoria is going to be going after nobility as well. And each of those nobility cards, except for Baron over here, you'll see they're worth people points, but as you take one, they're worth fewer and fewer points. And so we're going to be going after these, and she's going to be going after these. We want to go after them before she gets them because they'll be worth fewer points if she gets to it before we do. And to be a baron, all we need is a single ring. And look, we just happen to have drawn one in our starting hand. We also have a card that'll just blatantly give us a stone. And then this card's fantastic. It says, wherever our city councilor is, doesn't matter, we can use this card to use any of the 4 city actions. So that's pretty good. Honestly, what do we want to do? Well, I'd love to bake bread. Let's take a look at the event, though. This event says, anytime this round we gain housing points, add 2 more housing points to what we would have gotten. And that's pretty darn cool. Here, we started out with a cloth. Will that impact what we do? Well, maybe, maybe not. We definitely want housing points. And we have a card that would give us stone, and the housing thing over here again would allow us to turn a stone into some housing points. We don't even have to go over there because we have this card. So what else do we want to do? Well, we can take this ring. Let's start there. Let's see here. Is there anywhere we could get an advisor? If we move a single space, we can move, or I mean, not an advisor, a craftsman. Here's what I'm going to do right off the bat. I'm going to take this stone, put it in the 1 space. So you can do these in any order. You can either move the counselor first or do the card action first. And I'm going to do the card. In this case, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to take the stone from the card and then move her 1 space here and get a wood. All right, and now that we are over here, I want to use a bonus action. So in addition to the move action and the card action, there's 3 other things you can do. One is to get one of those nobility cards up there. The other is to buy one of these advisor cards around here. And the third is to take one of our craftsmen and put him in a house. Well, we have the required pieces here in order to do just that. In fact, either one of these, if you notice, in the house, it has different requirements. To put a craftsman here would take 1 stone and a wood, or a grain and a wood, or a wood and a cloth. Well, when you think about it, we are going to want at least to save the stone or the wood, or both. But in this case, we are going to be giving up one. In order to get some housing points over here, we can either spend 1 wood for 5 housing points or 1 stone for 5 housing points and 5 people points. So I'd say let's save the stone and spend the cloth and the wood in order to take one of our little craftsmen and put him in that house. And now for the rest of the game, whenever we come here, we can either get a second wood, or if we have grain, we can turn the grain into bread. And for revealing this first spot here, that's 1 people point. All right, we are already way out in front of Victoria with our first citizen point. All right, second action. Let's see here. I am going to use the ring because we know we're going to want to become a baron ASAP. Now, the question is, where do we want this to go? We don't even need to necessarily move him unless we wanted to move her first to get somewhere where we could maybe have gotten a resource that we could then trade into either the castle or the cathedral. A second stone is not going to help us out unless we traded it in for a gold, but that doesn't seem necessary at this point. We don't even need to physically get over here unless we wanted to, and unless we did, and then use this card somewhere else. Because this whole time I was thinking, well, we could use this card to trade in that stone over here without having to move him. But in fact, if we do move him and then use this card either here or here, and then that stone would come in handy because we could get a book and a favor token from there. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's play our ring in the number 2 space, move our village counselor over here 2 spaces, get a second stone, and pick up that ring. Then as our bonus action, let's cash in that ring to become a baron, which is worth 3 citizen points. And this is so nice how this works. Looks like you're actually placing the crown on their head. So give us 3 citizen points. We are up to 4 citizen points. And what else do we want to do? Now, let's go ahead and play this card in the 3 slot, which will allow us to move 1, 2, 3. We are going to trade in one of our stone for 5 building points. Don't forget this round bonus, plus 2 whenever we get building points. So that's going to be 7 building points. We started at 35, so we're up to 42. And then we can use one other city action. And honestly, we have a lot of options. I mean, we don't have anything to fill in over here at the castle, but we could use this and trade it in for a gold for later, or we could trade it into the cathedral right now. And I say, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to use this card as if we were in the cathedral to trade this stone in for, first of all, a book or a Bible. And then grab the top 3 of these favor tokens and pick one. All right, so here are our options. The favor tokens have a place you need to be and a reward for being there. And you don't even have to physically have your counselor there if you use a card like this that lets you take a city action somewhere. If you take your city action in that place, that counts for this favor token as well. But either way, even if you don't use the action and you go to the chapel or the cathedral, you'll get 3 citizen points. This one is if you go to the market, you get a gold. And this one is if you go to the cathedral, you will get a free Bible. And you know what? We've already gotten a Bible, and the points just rack up the more Bibles you have. So this essentially says if we go to the cathedral again, we're going to get another free Bible. And if we were at the cathedral in the first place, it's probably because we got a Bible. So let's go ahead and get this, because we're going to rack up these Bibles, and they are going to give us mega points later on. So that's what we're going to choose. And then that is it for the entire first round of the game. So we're going to take these 3 cards and flip them over. Victoria does not act in the first round of the game, but she is going to after this round. So here we go. We're flipping the event over. This event for this round is at the end of the round, we can trade in a grain for 2 citizen points, or 2 grains or a ring for 5 citizen points. And here are our new 3 cards. And look at this. It's all resources. A wood, a grain, and a cloth. So if we wanted to go for these extra citizen points, that grain came at the perfect time. But let's see what we actually end up wanting to do here. First of all, if we want to go to the cathedral to get a book, well, we have the perfect card for that, cloth, because right now, cloth only needs a single cloth in order to get more books. So that may be what we want to do, but honestly, we also want to bake some bread because every time over here, and in fact, we donated that stone, we need to turn this dial down. So here is what the dial looks like. It starts on 5, and then every time you donate, you lose points essentially for every time someone goes there. So we donated stone there, so we got to rotate the dial down. Now you only get 4 citizen points every time you donate there. But Victoria is going to go there, and every round for the rest of the game now, so those dials are going to be going down one time every round for the rest of the game, and she's going to be collecting those points. So honestly, we want to get a head start on her. We already got a head start on the stone there, which was nice, but we also are going to want to do that on the bread as well. But we also want to become a count, which means we're going to need rings and gold. Now, we are one step ahead of her in the nobility cards. So we may forego, because you can't do everything every round. We may forego this round trying to become a count. But what we definitely want to do is bake bread, and we can do that with our little craftsman over here. We're going to need to move her 2 spaces and have some wheat. Thank gosh we have wheat. So we're going to, this is kind of the pre-turn planning where it's like, okay, I know I'm going to want to use the 2 for her to move 2 spaces. And I know I'm going to want to use the 1 to move him 1 space to donate there. And then I'm going to want to use the 3 to move him from there back over to here so then he can sell the bread that we're about to bake. Thankfully, that actually works out really well this turn, because there are so many times where you try to plot out what you want to do and you have to move her to, but oh wait, to do what I wanted to do, I'm going to have to move him to. Well, you can't move them both to, with some exceptions. I mean, there's that card that lets you move an extra space, which is a great card. All right, but anyway, here's what we're going to do. And this wood is going to help us over there as well. So let's go ahead and make sure we have our B's and everything in a row. Okay, so we're going to have this grain, and we're going to place it on the number 2 space. So that means we're going to take a grain, and then we're going to move her 1, 2. Now I get a wood for going there, and I can either get a second wood because we have a dude here, or we can turn a grain into bread, and that's what we want to do. We're going to turn that grain into bread. All right. And then we are going to take this wood card and put it in the 1 space. No, we're not. We are going to take this cloth card and put it in the 1 space. Oh my gosh. Order of how you do things is so important. So here we go. We took a cloth and we're moving this counselor 1 space. And now that we're over here, we are going to donate this cloth to get another Bible. We're up to 2, but look at this. Our favor token. Whenever we go to the cathedral, we get an extra Bible, and that's a one-time use thing. So, folks, we are already up to 3 Bibles. Can you believe it? And then, not only do we get the Bible, we get another favor token. And also, since we donated here, we have to rotate this thing now to 2, so that shows that that is... it's going to cost 2 cloth from now on in order to go there. All right, here we go, folks. Let's take a look at these favor tokens. In fact, I think that very first turn when we donated here was a stone, right? I should have rotated that to 2 as well. I agree. I'm trying to keep an eye on some of the comments here. So, David, underrated game. Oh, I totally agree. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Create the world. Yeah, oh my gosh. Not to derail this whole conversation, but my local game store got in a bunch of the WizKids marketplace sets. So it's pre-painted market stalls and an executioner and all sorts of things. You better believe I'm going to be hunting that down. And Neil, yeah, I have to agree. I absolutely love this game. And there are a lot of Euros, and I want to do more plays of some of my absolute favorite games. And some of them, you know, if you see my channel, it's a lot of miniature gaming, but I also love Euro games a lot as well. So hopefully I'll be able to do some more of that. All right, so here are the favor tokens that we have to choose from. And again, these are nothing but good things. So let's start here. If we ever go to the market, we can get 5 housing points. If we ever go to the castle, we get a free ring, or go to the castle and get 3 citizen points. Oh, that is a tough one. Well, I don't have any plans to go to the market or the castle anytime soon right now. In fact, I'm headed over to the Builders Hall later. But chances are, I mean, we are going to want to go to both of these places in the end. In fact, I mean, that ring could help us out pretty quickly here, I believe, because we're going to want to become a count. And, well, of course, if we go there, that means we're probably already there to get a ring, but then this ring would give us a jump start on becoming a prince. Oh, that's tough because I like these 5 building points. And you know we're going to the market when we sell our books, but that's not till later in the game. But 5 building points is nothing to shake a stick at. 3 citizen points for going to the castle. I mean, that's decent, but I am pretty, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think our citizen points are not doing too bad. So it's going to probably, for me, be between a ring and the 5 building points. I think I'm going to take the ring. The ring is going to really help us in the future with citizen points, even though I just said that our citizen points are going to be looking pretty good. But I still think so. We're going to need a lot, and it's still early on, but that's the one I'm thinking we're going to take. And then last but not least, boom, play a wood card in the 3 slot. So now we take another wood, and we are moving 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. All right, now that we are in this construction zone, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to donate 1 wood for 5 building points. So we're going to go from 42 to 47. And then we're going to donate this bread for 7 people points. Of course, it would have been nice if we had 2 or 3 bread, but hey, we just got 7 more people points. So we go from 4 to 11. And that is, as they say, that we rotate that dial down. So now Victoria is not going to get as many people points as she would have. And I believe that is it. I think we got everything we needed. And then, of course, the end of the round card, we don't have any grain or rings, so we won't be doing that. So that's it. And Victoria scores her first points. And here's how she does it. She takes the next lowest nobility card, so she now becomes a baroness for 3 points, so she's at 3. Then she acts as if she donated bread for 6 points, so she's at 9. And then she acts as if she donated stone for 4 more, so she's at 13. And those dials go down. And again, she doesn't collect housing points, so just people points. All right. And then we're going to flip our cards over here and begin round 3 of 6. The next event card is start of the round, grab a grain. Love it, love it, love it. All right, and then here are our final 3 cards, and look at this. These are some of the more strategic cards you can use, so it's not just get a free resource, but let's take a look at what these are. This is one of my favorite cards in the game. This allows you to take an extra step. So no matter where you put it, if I put it here, I can move 1 counselor a space and take that action. Then I can move that counselor again 1 space and take that action, or move the other counselor a space and take an action. And you can put it in any slot. So you could move a counselor 2 spaces and then again a space. Or one of my favorite things is you could put it in a 3. Because wherever a counselor starts, they're not going to be able to get back there without having, 4 movement, and that gives you 4 movement. You can move them 3 and then move them again 1. And that may be where we go if we want to bake bread again this turn. So that's what that one is. And then this is kind of like the market. Play this card and you can turn any resource into a gold or any 3 resources into 2 gold. And then here, putting out a craftsman in a house is 1 resource cheaper to do, or purchasing one of these advisor cards from the outside of this board is 1 resource cheaper to do. So these are kind of the more thinky cards. Let's see what we got here. Well, we've got a grain, we've got a wood, and that means a lot of possibilities. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We definitely want to become a count now because Victoria is hot on our tail. So we're going to need a gold and a ring. So we're going to need to at least get to here to get the ring. And we're going to also need a gold. Well, we have a resource in order to get the gold. So these are going to be pretty much shoo-ins. Now, the cheapest way to get a ring over here right now is to either donate a grain or donate a wood. And thankfully, those are both the items that we have right now. But don't forget, oh my gosh, I have my eye on this guy. Look at this guy. And he would be one cheaper to get this turn if we can somehow get over there. If we are able to get him, he gives us 2 books. And folks, we already have 3 books. You can max out at 5 books to donate for 21 points. I don't think I've ever gotten 5 books this early in the game before, and so it's really tempting me. I want to get over there and buy that. And we want to get over there anyway because we want to get a gold. Well, I guess this card also, though, would give us a gold. So here's what we need to do here. We need to get here no matter what, and then we need to get here. And in order to get this card, we are going to need, based on what we have, this grain is worthless to us. I don't see us baking bread this turn, unfortunately. So this grain is the one that will probably turn into gold. So what we have left is wood. Actually, no, the grain will be what we use to get the ring. And then this wood plus a cloth. And don't forget, we have a card that makes this guy one cheaper. So this wood plus either a cloth or a stone, whichever one's easier for us to get to over here, will allow us to get this guy. But we will need one other resource as well in order to turn it into gold. So we need 2 more resources and still be able to go here and then again here. So it's going to be interesting. Can we get 2 resources and still get to here and here? Yeah, I think we can, because we can move 2 spaces to here and then 1 space to there, and that takes up those. And then we have a 3 and another 1, so we will be able to move her twice to get 2 resources. Okay, folks, I think we can do it. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay, oh my gosh, but you have to do this in order. You have to think out your whole turn ahead of time. It's absolutely insane. If it was any more than 3 slots, I would probably lose my mind. All right, so here we go. We got to do this in order. Okay, so I am going to do what? I'm going to play this card in the 3 slot. And I will move her 1, 2, 3 and take a cloth. Now I can turn something into gold. In this case, I don't think it matters, but let's just say we turn the cloth into gold. And then we are going to play this move an extra space card in the 2 slot so that we can move this counselor 1, 2 spaces and cash in this wood, turning this dial. So now it takes 2 wood to get a ring. To get a ring, and look at that, we already have our gold in our ring. And because we went to the castle, we get an extra ring thanks to our favor token. So now we got to jumpstart on becoming a prince next round. And then we will play this. Oh, we forgot to do this. We will then move 1 more space to move her over here and get a wood. Oh, I guess we had a grain for that, didn't we? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. So now we will play this in the 1 slot. Move this person here for 1. Turn this grain, using this action, into a gold. So now we have 2 gold. And now we are going to use... Oh, let's see here. Shoot, I don't think we can do this in the order we wanted to. Because what I'm thinking is, this cashing in the Bibles thing would have to happen right now as part of this movement action. So I can't move here and do part of this and then buy this card and then do the rest of this. So we'll have to cash in the Bibles at a later turn, but I am going to buy this card. So this card costs us only 2 resources, because don't forget we played this card that makes buying this card 1 resource cheaper. So instead of stone, cloth, and wood, we're just going to pay a wood and then a gold for one of the other 2. Golds are wild, don't forget. So now we have the archivist, and that archivist is going to give us 2 people points. So now we're tied with Victoria, but also 2 Bibles, and that gets us to 5. So on a future turn, we will come back to the market and cash those in. But the good thing is they're done. We got the 5. Max out at 21 people points. But the turn's not over yet, because now we're going to cash in this gold and this ring in order to become a count. And becoming a count is worth 6 people points, but also, more importantly, it deprives Victoria of becoming a countess at full value. So that gives us 6 more people points from 13 to 19. And now the turn, I believe, is over. Oh, we got to refill this with this. So now this card that refilled it is just a straight up 8 people points for those 3 resources. Now Victoria once again gets her points, and she's going to get a lot of them because we didn't donate to the stone or the bread. So she's going to get 5 points for bread, 4 points for stone. So that's 9 more points. 9 plus 13 is 22. And she becomes a countess for 5 more points, 27. Look at how far ahead of us she has jumped. But just you wait. And I said that last time and still lost, but hopefully when we turn in these books and all this other stuff, we will really get a jump start on her. So that's half the game over, because now we've played all 9 of our cards. We take them all back and give them a shuffle, and we'll do this 3 more times. You just go 2 times through this little deck of cards, and that is the whole game. So we are now starting round 4. We're going to get a new event card this time as well, so we'll see what that ends up being. All right, folks, here we go. What is it going to be this time? This round's event is, oh my gosh, look at that. Advisors are 1 cheaper to get. So that last advisor we got would have only cost 1 resource if we had those stack. Well, you never know. We could draw that card again, because we're now drawing 3 cards. Are you kidding me? An advisor would cost a single resource right now, because we'd have a -1 resource on the card and a -1 resource for the event. We may be buying another advisor, and there's 8 people points sitting right here. Oh my gosh, I got to check the legality of that. Does that seem legal? I mean, I would think so. It probably wouldn't happen very often that one of your 3 cards happen to be the same ability that benefit would give you, but you never know. Let's see if it says anything about that in here. It may not, and if it doesn't, that is still the way that I am going to play it. So where's an event? Where are the event cards? Okay, here we go. Event card, pay any 1 resource less than required to hire an advisor. And the bonus card of bonus action card. Oh, wait, those are bonus actions. You may perform, hire a craftsman, or recruit an advisor at a location where one of your accounts is present, pay any 1 resource less. So I think they stack. I don't see anywhere where these don't stack. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that an advisor is 1 less this round only, and we have a card that makes advisors 1 less. So if that stacks, that would be insane, and we would only pay a single resource. And that really opens up the entire board. Now I really have to look around and see, because there's some great cards. Look at this one. This one gives us 6 points and a gold. Because don't forget, we've already got a ring. So, and I love that we have this, because this will allow us to use this action again without having to go there, so we can cash in our books. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to do this turn. Holy cow. We definitely need a gold because we have this ring and we want to become a prince. And this is our ticket to doing just that. I have a feeling we really don't need any more books. So really, it's just a question of which advisor do we want to get? Oh my goodness. And then we have this card that'll allow us to move another space as well. So let's take a look at some of these advisors. Let's just take a closer peek at this. We're kind of going shopping here. So this one is 2 victory points for citizens, and every time you donate to the cathedral, get an extra book. I don't think we're going to be doing that. 2 points and exchange any 2 goods, so that kind of makes a good wild. Landlord, 3 victory points, and you can turn a cloth 1 time per turn into 5 building points, but at the -1 citizen point for doing so. Oh, the glare is kind of bad on that one. That one is no matter where you are, you can get a craftsman or an advisor. This one is Master of Coin. So you'll get a coin and 6 points. That's kind of the one I'm leaning to, as a matter of fact. And then this one is 5 points and a ring. So it's like 6 points and a gold, 5 points and a ring. Those are both good. And then this one would allow you to bake bread just once per turn with a cloth. But look at that. 2 grain and a cloth for 2 bread. That's insanity. Oh my gosh, do we do that? Do we have a way? Well, no, we don't have a way to get grain right now. We do have a way to get grain and an extra gold. But we kind of want to save our gold for becoming a prince and then hopefully a marquis later. Oh my goodness, I've never had, this is like a bounty of riches. Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? Well, I don't know. Maybe go here and get this free ring, but then that would give us a ring. We already got the prince ring. That would give us the marquis ring. So, and I don't think we're going to end up becoming a duke. So we probably don't need another ring. In fact, there's going to be a card in here that is going to give us another ring. I don't know. Maybe we do that then. That would give us enough rings to become a duke. We don't really need any more books. Really, I would like to bake bread. But look at where we are. We would need to get all the way back there again. And that is possible. We would have to do, 1, 2, or we go 1 to get a grain, and then go 1, 2, 3 to bake it into bread. Ooh, and then we move 2 spaces here to get this gold and use this card. Well, that's not enough resources though. Well, we would get a wood for going here. And then the wood for going there would be enough to get this card and give us a gold. But we wanted to cash in our books. But then we would want to bake our bread over here. Oh my goodness, there's so many things we can do. Okay, I hope I don't mess this up. I think this is what we're going to do. Oh, yikes. I'm worried. Because then we'll still have 2 more turns to get back there and give the books up. The books aren't going anywhere. All right, so here we go, folks. Oh my gosh. And then we're going to have 1 extra space. We are going to have 1 extra space. So where should that be? Well, yikes. Because we want to move him 2. Want to move her 1 and then her 3. And then we're going to have 1 extra space. Well, actually, I think that'd be okay, because then we can save the wood for later and use the grain we get from going there a second time to pick up this card. All right, so here's the order that we're going to do this in, and I hope I don't totally mess this up. Gosh, I don't even know if I can even do it in this order. All right, but anyway, we're going to give it a shot. Here is, we're going to move one space with this card for her, boom, and take a grain. Then we're going to move 3 spaces with her to go 1, 2, 3, and take a wood and turn the grain into bread. Now we're going to do this. Oh boy, let's see if we can do this. We got to do this correctly. We have got to do this in the right order. So I think what we do is put this in the 1 space. So that will give us 1 more movement to move here and take a grain, and then use any castle space we want. And we're going to use this space as if we were here to turn in a bread for 5 people points, taking us from 19 to 24. And then also cash in this wood for 5 housing points from 47 to 52. And then we're going to play this card in the 2 slot to move this counselor 1, 2. And we could have donated to the cathedral, but we're not. Instead, we are going to use this double discount to make the advisor 1 cheaper, and then make the advisor another 1 cheaper. So he only costs 1 resource. So he'll only cost the grain in this case, and pay the grain in order to get him the Master of Coin. We get 6 more people points from 24 to 30, and then also get this coin, which we are then going to use the coin in the ring in order to become a prince and get 10 more people points from 30 to 40. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that happened. And we still have all these books. We need to start working on housing points, because now with 21 people points coming up, we will be at 61 people points, which is not going to still be enough to beat her, but that means these last 2 turns, these last 2 rounds, we're really going to need to focus on building points. But now she gets her points, and she, just like us, now becomes a princess for 8 points from 27 to 35, and donates stone for 3 more points to 38, and 4 more points for bread to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to 42. She's ahead of us by 2 right now, and we have 2 rounds of the game left. Let's flip these over. Let's draw our next 3. And here's what we got. We got a ring, we got a grain, and we got a wood. Now, ideally, we would like to get 2 gold somehow here, and I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Oh, yikes. I just don't see that happening. Oh, yeah. This advisor filled in. This is just a straight up 8 points. 8 people points. And then what's the event this round? A free wood. All right, let's take the wood. Okay, and here's what we got. How can we get the most points possible out of this? We would like to become a marquis. We have the ring. We can get 1 gold, and then we're going to be short the other gold. Oh boy, oh boy. There's no way we're going to become a marquis. Victoria is going to become a marquess or whatever it is. Oh, is there any way for us to get another gold? I just don't see it happening. I do not see it happening. Okay, so we have to be, we have to chill out and say, what else can we do? All right, well, we have grain, we have wood, and we have this ring. The ring doesn't help us much because we're not going to become a marquis. I guess not this turn, maybe next turn. So let's bank on becoming a marquis on a future turn. We also have wood. Could we get a 3rd wood? Yes, we could, because we have a wood. We have a wood card, and we will go over here to get a 3rd wood, because 3 wood is 10 building points, and we are going to need those building points. And then this grain will help us because we can bake bread. So we're going to need him to come over here and bake bread or turn the bread into points and trade the wood in. But look at this. This is where how nice the last turn worked out for us. Here's where it does not work out so well. Well, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh. Let's see this. Because she would move 1, 2, 3, and we would want him to also move 1, 2, 3. He can't, but he could go 1, 2, and then 1. Ooh. Could we possibly pull this out? Oh my gosh. And we want to stop over here anyway to cash in these books, these Bibles. Oh my goodness. I think we may be able to do it. It's going to be in kind of a roundabout way though. So we have the grain and we have a wood. So let's see if we can do this. We're going to want him to go 1, 2, and then 1. So we want her to go 3. So we're going to play this grain in the 3 slot and take a grain and then move her 1, 2, 3. That's going to give us a wood and allow us to turn this grain into bread. And then we are going to play this ring in the 2 slot and take a ring and then go 1, 2. And we would love to get a gold here. We would absolutely love to get a gold here, but we're not going to do it because we want those 2 woods. But we are going to cash in our 5 Bibles that we've been holding on to this whole game and take 21 people points. 40 to 61 in one fell swoop. Oh my gosh. And then we are going to play this wood in the 1 slot and take a wood. And now we are going to cash in these 3 wood and move. Well, we're moving this 1 space and then cashing in those 3 wood. So then we have 3 wood is 10 building points. So from 52 to 62. And then also cash in this bread for 4 people points, and that also is great because that was the last spot on this dial was 4, and when that is over you remove the dial and print it on the board here is for the rest of the game bread's only worth 3. So that's going to be 4 more people points for us from 61 to 65, and now Victoria is only going to get 3 people points there. The problem is she's about to become a marquis though. All right, but I think that's it. We end this turn with a ring, which is worth points at the end of the game. But, oh my gosh, will it be enough? We are currently at, I know it's impossible to see, building points at 62, people points at 65, and Victoria at 42. But she gets her points right now. And she's going to get a lot of them. So Victoria donates bread for 3, 1, 2, 3. Donates stone for 3, and that rotates the dial. So 1, 2, 3. But here's where the big points come in. She now becomes a Marquess for 15 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 more is 63. Yikes. So she jumped ahead of our housing. So we're housing 62. Victoria 63, and our citizen points at 65. And don't forget, our points at the end of the game is the lower of our housing or our citizens. So we'll see what it ends up being. The good news is we can now see in this final turn how many points she's going to get max. She does not become a duke at the end of the game, so all she's going to get is 3 points for this bread, or 2 points probably for this stone. It could go down to 1, but it would have to rotate many more times, so it's probably going to be 2. So she's going to get 5 more points no matter what. She's at 63, she'll be at 68. In order to get to 69, we need 4 more people points and 7 more housing points. Oh my gosh, we have 1 turn to get 7 more housing points. I don't like the sound of that. Oh, yikes. We have 1 turn to get 4 more people points and 7 more housing points, essentially. Oh, yikes. this could all come crashing down. Here are our last cards. And look at this. Oh my gosh, we may actually be able to become a Marquess ourselves, because here we'll get a gold for a good. We can move 3 spaces and get a gold for a good. So these 2 cards, boom, we've satisfied our citizen points. But where on this board can we possibly get more housing points? Oh, don't forget, new event for this round, and this is probably not something we're going to care about, but anytime we donate to the castle is 3 extra people points. This stone may be our saving grace. Oh gosh, I hate the fact that we're on wood, because wood would have been worth 5 points. Oh my gosh, and I hate that we're on this space, because now we have to try to get back to that space in order to donate this stone. Okay, we might be able to do it, because if we can get back to that space, this stone will be worth 5 building points. This ring at the end of the game will be worth 2 building points. That's our 7 building points. Unfortunately, though, we're going to need a lot of gold. Well, we'll get 1 gold from this, and we're going to need to get her to a space where she can get a resource, and we're going to need to stop here and trade in a resource for another gold. This is going to be like a photo finish if we can manage this. Oh my gosh, this is going to be absolutely insane. Okay, so what order do we do this in? Okay, so we know we're going to want him to go 3 spaces and then 1 space. So she can only go 2 spaces. And we're going to play, I don't know if it matters, but we're going to play this cloth in the 2 space. So we're going to take a cloth and then move her 1, 2 and get a stone. Then we're going to move him 3 spaces, and we're going to play this card to trade any good for a gold. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and trade in, using the card, we're going to trade this cloth in for a gold. And then we are going to, using the space, trade this stone in for a gold. And then look at this. Here are our 2 golds and a ring for the bonus action. Oh no! Oh no! God. We need to come up with a different plan. Oh my gosh, we need to come up with a different plan. Because we needed this ring for those 2 extra housing points. Fudge. Fudge, fudge, fudge. Okay. We'll see what happens. Now we're going to play this stone here. Oh boy. 1, 2. Okay. And then we're going to move this guy 1 space. We're going to trade in this stone here for 5 building points, going from 62 to 67, and 2 people points. 1, 2. Our people points and our housing points are both at 67. And now we need 2, and that's it. We're not even going to cash these in. We're not going to cash these in. We could cash these 2 gold and this ring in to become a marquis or marquess, and that is 12 people points. But we need this ring's 2 points, because look what happens. At the end of the round, she gets 3 points for the bread. 1, 2, 3. She's at 66. She gets 2 points for the stone. 1, 2. She's at 68. Now at the end of the game, we cash in whatever we have left. A ring is worth 2 points. Either people points, building points, or 1 of each. We'll trade that ring in for 2 building points to go to 69, and 2 gold. Each gold is worth a point. 1 people point or 1 building point. We'll use both of these golds for 2 people points. 1, 2. And that is it. Oh my gosh, you do not get any closer than that. Are you kidding me? Here is the final score. Victoria, 68. Rick, people points and building points, 69. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, that worked out so we could cash in the ring and the gold for exactly what we needed, because that is as close as it comes, folks. And if you watch this live playthrough of Crown of Emara, if you watch the one that I just did and recorded and just uploaded, believe me, I freaking love this game. I've played it 4 times tonight by myself in the solo version. The first game I played, I set the housing to 40 points and beat Victoria. Second play, I did live on Twitch. I set the building points to 35 and lost. So check me out on Twitch, Supreme YDNAC, one word, for a live play where I set it to 40 or set it to 35 and Victoria beat me. And then I played a third time, just not recording it at all, where I set the housing to 35 and I won. And I won big. Like, Victoria was about where she is now, but my housing and my people were like at 83 and 84. I'm just glad I got it on camera now that we actually beat her by a point. Oh my gosh, that is insanity. All right, folks, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this. One of my favorite games of all time is Crown of Emara. Thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. And until next time.